for joining me today. I'm Esther, continuing on my journey of transformation. I'm going to jump right in. I know it's been a couple days since I've posted, but it's been busy. It's been really busy. I've had a rough couple of weeks. I've had, anxiety going on. I tried to meditate, and I think I was somewhat successful. It just triggered anxiety, and my mind kind of shut down at that point because of the specific purpose I was meditating for. So anyway, it caused, anxiety, and I started having some panic attacks, and just it was really a rough couple weeks, rough week at least, a little over a week. So anyway, things have just kind of been going wrong in my life, things that I have no control over. And it seems a lot like the things that I've been really writing about in my gratefulness journal rather. Like weird stuff in my house, and I love my house. I have this cozy little house that I love that house, and I am so incredibly grateful for it. But just all these random things happen, and just it's like it's just been boom, 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 boom. And then, my kids, I've been really dealing with stuff with my kids and things I don't know how to handle. I don't know how to fix, and I'm a fixer. I'm not one to focus on the problem. I want to focus on the solution. But, teenagers, they want to focus on the problem. And I don't. I'm really struggling with how to handle this with my children. It's like these, the things that are most important on my vehicle. It needs to be fixed, and I filed an insurance claim, and it's just not happening, and I don't know what the problem is here. But again, it's just one more thing that I'm trying to deal with, and it's like nothing seems to be lining up. It's been a thing. So I've been, pretty busy, pretty covered up, dealing with all of these just constant problems and things that just been one more thing added into this anxiety, and feeling that I don't have any control over this stuff. So a lot of it is I don't know how to fix it because I can't control it anyway. I can't control the electricity in my house. I'm not even trying to control my kids. I just want them to be good, decent human beings. And it's been a tough little bit. Sorry, the cat. So anyway, I had a dream. I don't know, it's probably been a month ago now, where I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning after this dream. And in the dream, I was arguing with a man. I have no idea who the man was. I don't know. I don't even remember the conversation other than he was telling me what my calling is in life. Now, this is something I've really been intentional about seeking and asking God, what is my calling? What do you expect from me? And I kind of already knew. There's no kind of. I did know. I just keep questioning. God, are you sure? I'm not equipped for this. I'm not even worthy. You got the wrong person. I'm reading into things. I clearly am not hearing God properly. Anyway, I had that dream, and this man is arguing with me because I'm saying, basically that no, I can't do this. And the man is telling me that this is what I'm going to do, and it's going to be okay. And like I said, I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what was said because it was, again, a dream. And it was weird. But I woke up, and the first thought on my mind when I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning was, press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God. Now the actual verse is Philippians 3, I looked it up, Philippians 3:14. And it's, I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. And that's Paul talking, okay? The Apostle Paul, formerly Saul. So I thought, okay, that's interesting. And that was 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up, my normal time at like 5. And that verse was the first thought on my mind. So I went and wrote it down in my journal. I was like, this is crazy. This is really crazy. That, I would remember. Normally I go back to sleep and I don't even remember the dream. I might have a vague recollection, but that's it. Press toward the mark. And it wasn't I pressed toward the mark. It was press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God. Okay. So this Bible verse has kind of been reverberating within me. And there's no kind of to that. It has been. It has been just kind of constantly on my mind. And it's like when I kind of forget it, this energy within me that I believe is the Spirit of God, that energy kind of pushes it front and center again in my mind. So, I watched, and I'm pretty sure I talked about this in one of the previous videos. I watched, listened to a motivational speech by Oprah. And that same day that I had listened, that I talked about in the previous video about, she had talked about the whispers. That when God gives you a calling or tells you your calling, it begins as a whisper. And if you don't listen, the whisper gets louder and louder and louder and louder until you have no choice but to listen. And the whispers that I have been hearing, I started looking back, have been my entire life. In every time of intimacy that I had with God, where I was growing with God, where I was listening and accepting the grace of God and her love, the whisper was there. The irony is that even when I wasn't listening to her, the whisper was still there, always within me. The whisper has gotten loud. It's no longer a whisper to me. It is loud. And now I'm ready to step out and follow my calling. I don't know how. I have no idea how, because I'm not worthy. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know the how. But I know that if God is calling me, that she will provide the way. She will take care of the details. My spirit is finally aligning with the God of the universe. That's pretty cool. Because I keep saying I feel it with me, and I do, I feel it, but I know. And I can't explain that or really describe it. It's a knowing. So anyway, the how. I don't know the how yet. And I'm okay with that. I feel like I'm not worthy. And I have so much shame that I'm working through and trying to figure out how to let it go. But, bear with me that I have 35 years of shame that has been a habit and a practice within my life that I have just carried it in every aspect of my life. So being forgiven doesn't eliminate the shame that I'm holding on to that has woven itself into my being. the lack of self-worth that has woven itself into my being. When I figure out how to let it go, I will. um, I'm doing EMDR therapy starting next week, specifically focusing on love and worthiness, my self-worth. Not the worth that God sees or needs, because she's already told me that I'm worthy. She sent me right back to the burning bush with Moses, and where Moses told God that he wasn't worthy. Well, God didn't need him to be worthy, because God's worthy. Come on, kitty kitty. Come on. God didn't need Queen Esther to be worthy. She just needed her to be willing. And Queen Esther's my namesake, Hadassah. And she was strong and she was brave and she led a country, her people, God's people, to safety. Or, not to safety, but, kept them alive. If God can take a little Jewish girl and turn her into a queen, I think God can do so much more for me. She at least can do the same for me. Because if she tells me that's what I'm going to do, then I do imagine she's got it all figured out already. So the how, I don't know. I don't know the how. I don't have to. And I just expect that God's going to take care of this. I guess that's where faith comes in. Anyway, so I was reading, listening to Matthew, the book of Matthew. And I've been listening to it to go to sleep at night because it's part of my routine at night to listen to something while I try to go to sleep. And I've been listening to a podcast called Sleep With Me. And I've been listening to it for years as part of my routine because I had battled insomnia. And I switched over to listening to the Bible. And it's really interesting. Like, I've read the Bible before. I have memorized the Bible. I have listened to it so much of my life. But this is different because it's really, really interesting. Like, for the first time, I am receiving these, I don't want to say epiphanies, but kind of epiphany type moments of, whoa, that's what Jesus was saying there. He was talking all these parables, and I get it. And so that's been like really, really incredible. I've had a lot of these explained to me before, but they are not what was explained to me in a lot of them. Some of them I'm like, yeah, that's pretty spot on. But anyway, I was listening to the parable of the sower, where the farmer is planting seeds into the soil, and different soil is really what's being focused on here. How good is your soil? Because that determines how much your seed will grow. When I was a kid, the soil wasn't very good. I was planting over and over and over again, but it was so rocky that I could never develop any roots. And the irony is that despite my upbringing, I was plucked up every time in an effort to not develop roots. As time progressed, I would plant myself and I would develop roots, but I was among the thorns. I had surrounded myself with thorns. I had purposefully planted myself in those thorns and then wondered why I didn't grow until I just gave up. This time, I planted myself in fertile soil. because I am going to bear fruit. There's no more thorns. I am surrounding myself with those who bear fruit. Because who I associate with, who has the same expectations of God, they help shoulder my expectations so that our expectations grow. So our faith grows. And that's where I am today. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to trust the Spirit within. I'm going to trust her even when I don't see any reason to trust her. I'm still going to. Every day, because I have a bunch of fruit to produce. God has told me that she expects great things from me. And so I'm going to follow her calling. I keep saying to God, give me ears to hear, give me eyes to see. And where you lead, I'll follow. I'm going to keep my eyes on her. I'm going to press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus. She's already told me to press toward the mark. And I'm picking up and saying, yes, I will press toward the mark. Stay tuned. There's so much more. And as the story unfolds in my life, I'll keep sharing, and I hope to inspire you. I guess even in a lot of ways doing these videos keeps me accountable even to myself, and still pressing toward the mark. I hope you've enjoyed following this journey of transformation, and I hope to see you next time. If you want, subscribe, hit the notification bell.